Okay, Greg from Australia. I get asked here in Australia mainly about the ethical and the full traceability back to the farm and to me as a producer. Things like, how do you know it's your beef that you're getting back from the processor, and how is your farm sustainable, and what practices do you use? Um, okay, so Greg, I don't think there's really a question there. So that's what you're getting asked. People want to know about how can they, okay, yeah, how can they trust, right, that what you're selling is what you say it is, that you're actually raising it, that it's raised ethically, that your practices are quote unquote sustainable or regenerative, or any of whatever the terminology is that that they are using. How do they know? Well, they only know if they trust you, right? That's the only way that they can know. Sorry, it's getting dark. Let me increase the light. There we go. The only way that they can know is by having a relationship of trust, right? They trust you, so you've earned their trust at some point in the past, and that doesn't mean that you've spit on your hand and then made them a in-person promise, right? But earning the trust just means that they've over time seen that you do what you say you're going to do. You deliver on the things that you say you'll do, right? Whether that is, the quality of your product, right? The consistency of your being on time when you're delivering your product. It's all of these little things. And if you're new, or if maybe, and I'm not speaking to Greg right now, I'm speaking to everyone, okay? So Greg, I don't have your last name in front of me, so I don't even know who you are. I haven't seen your business. So this is not about you at all. But if you're just getting started, or maybe if you've spent your time so far focusing on building a business based on things like likes and followers and email subscribers, rather than on establishing trust with the people that you want to sell to and to your current customer base, and now you recognize that you need to create trust, right? Well, the easiest way to do that is to go borrow trust, right? To go find new customers, to go find a business that will endorse you or partner with you. And they don't have to endorse you like give a testimonial. They don't have to like be willing to sit down in front of a camera and say things like, I trust this person, or I love them, I've known them for a decade, or whatever. You don't need any of that. Like, you can go partner with a CrossFit gym owner that you don't know from Adam, but that you contact through email or through an Instagram direct message, and you say, hey, I want to partner with you and give some beef, do a giveaway to your gym, or I want to give some free samples to your gym, or I want to come in and do a display at your next CrossFit competition at your gym, or whatever. Contact them and partner with them, and they're going to tell, in the promotion or in the partnership, they're going to tell their members, their audience, about you. And the second that they put your name or your face in their Instagram, or your business name, your farm name, ranch name, whatever, your brand, and they reference you to people, their customer base, then you've borrowed trust. Their people, their audience that the owner is telling them about you, these people are automatically going to trust you, or be more likely to trust you, okay? Maybe you're shady. Again, I'm not talking to Greg, I'm talking to all of us. Maybe you are shady. Maybe we shouldn't trust you, right? Maybe people should not trust you. But if you're not, and most of you aren't, I've come across very few. That's another point. Like in farming, this is by far, I don't think I've even met anyone that's not true. But by far, there are fewer dishonest business people at least in my kind of circle within agriculture, than in any other industry that I've been in, which is awesome, right? Which says a lot about why my family's in this industry, and why this is where we want to spend the rest of our lives. So if you're not shady, and most of you aren't, the vast majority are not, then this is a great way to borrow trust, is to partner with someone who already has the trust of the people that you want to sell to. If another way to do that is, you can go and find someone who is credible, who is trustworthy, or who your current customers know and trust, and get them to talk about you, right? Get a testimonial. Testimonials are huge, obviously. Gather testimonials from your current customer list. If you don't have any, or maybe you don't have any customers yet, go gather testimonials from your friends, or people who know you best, or from another business, or from a job that you had, right? Who will speak to your character, who speak to your integrity. They don't need to have anything to do with beef, and go put those on your website, put those in your marketing materials, right? Use those to earn the trust of the people that you want to sell to. So establish trust. That's what it comes down to. And if they trust you, that doesn't mean that you can avoid these conversations and that you don't need to answer, and that you don't need to, and that you wouldn't want, and that, I mean, you would want to answer these questions like, well, how do I know that it's sustainable? Well, I wouldn't answer that question directly because, first of all, it's hard to be, my default and stuff like that is I get defensive, right? I just get defensive when people are like, well, how do I know what you're saying is true? I'm like, you know what? You're fired. I don't want to work with you. So instead, reframe the question and then answer that new question. And so instead, I would say, well, that's a great question. This is how we track, right? This is how we think about sustainability. This is how we track or measure our regenerative practices. And I might include some links to, there's some great talks out there I really like by Ray Archuleta, Gabe Brown, and Alan Williams, among dozens of others, right? But these guys are really I like the work that they're doing with Soil Health Academy and Alan, especially with GrassfedQ Exchange. I spoke with Alan not too long ago. We had a great conversation on the phone. He's just one of the all-time greats. I think he's just a really good man, and he's brilliant. He really knows his stuff, and he's generous. He is so generous with his time, and there's a lot of good material out there, a lot of good videos that he's put out where he talks about measuring and tracking, like the benchmarks of, he doesn't talk about sustainability, but of regeneration, right? And so maybe I would find some links to maybe articles or videos, and I would send those with my answer, right? So explain your process. Chances are, and here's why I don't like to answer these, a question like that directly, but rather I'd reframe it and then answer the reframe, is it's really hard to communicate what you're thinking and feeling and the emotions that you have through text, okay? And it's even hard over the phone, right? It's face-to-face where we thrive as humans. It's the visual cues. That's the vast majority of communication. I don't recall the exact number, but it is somewhere like 80 or 90, 95% of communication is visual. And so without that, it's just really easy to interpret, these text questions or emailed questions. So that's my answer.